Good morning, my lovelies, and welcome to a bright, if not nippy, Wednesday morning. The sun started to poke through the clouds. Give it another hour or so and it'll have warmed up nicely. Not sure if you can hear that. I can see him, he's just going through those trees. That is a skylark calling. So, I hope you're all well, lovelies. And I hope if you've been out to brave the shops, I hope you've not been too traumatised. Me, personally, I'm not too bothered. The only places I wanted to be open was the metaphysical shops in town and the works for my craft supplies. So I thought we'd come and have a ramble down the lane. To see what sights and sounds we can hear of nature. And it got me thinking. My dad, who is no longer with us and hasn't been for 20 years this year, was a naturalist. My dad loved wildlife. When he was a child, he was evacuated to Wales, and he did say that was where his love of wildlife came from, because he was born and brought up in inner city Birmingham. As kids, we were dragged. Big hole in a tree there. We were dragged across every nature reserve across Warwickshire and Staffordshire and being taught the different birds, the different calls, the different plants, the different trees, how to sit and observe wildlife, but you name it, we were taught it. And as a kid, you don't really want to do that, do you? You'd be much happier being at home watching cartoons on the telly or playing out with your mates. That's what you wanted to do. But we went anyway. As we got older, it stopped. And then when I had children, my daughter used to go out with my dad. My dad used to take my daughter all over the place, and she loved going out with her granddad, watching the birds and things and being taught wildlife. And it wasn't until later on in life that I realised what a valuable lesson my dad had taught me, and taught my sister as well. Because now, when I go out with Lou, I can identify plants and birds and animals and insects. And it's nice because I can tell you what I can hear, and I can tell you what I think it is. If I see a plant and I think, oh, I know what that is. And yes, we may be bored as kids, but now with my pagan stuff that I do, if I can help other people identify a plant, and I can say, that's so and so, however, don't touch it, it's poisonous, or that's so and so, yes, you can eat that, that's fine, that's not a problem. And now I'm old, And when we get old, we tend to find people like to go rambling. I don't go rambling, I go dog walking. I like to be out in it. And every time I come out in nature, I always think of my dad. And I always think of the hours and hours and hours he spent trying to educate me and my sister in wildlife. And now I appreciate being able to come out to rural areas, to nature reserves, that people have put time and money and effort into keeping nice, so people like me can come out for a walk in them. So, you know, without people like my dad and other members, you know, other naturalists, naturalists that put in the time and the effort, you know, and the celebrities, you know, the Chris Packhams of the world and the David Attenboroughs of the world, we've been on the wiser about natural history and nature and conservation. And I know my dad's no longer with me, but I do think he's here in spirit when we go out for a walk. Because I'll see something and I think, well, that was a bit out of the ordinary, that shouldn't have been there. And I always think, well, maybe that's Dad paying me a visit. You know? And you appreciate the natural world more. And you understand it more. And that also helps with your seasons. You understand your seasons more. That also means you understand your Sabbaths more. You hear him? How close is he? Right above my head. The beautiful skylark. I've not heard one of those for years, and it's only in the last 12 months since I've been walking these fields I've actually heard them. What was I saying? Yes, without people like my dad and others, we would never understand nature conservation and natural history and things like that. So it makes me appreciate it more when I'm out here. He's still going, he's right above my head. It makes me appreciate it more when I'm out and I hear things like the skylark and I think, isn't that beautiful? When I stumble across a pheasant and starklet and I think, oh, it's a pheasant, isn't that pretty? When I see the rabbits playing in the fields. And I never got a chance to say thank you to my dad for dragging me across fields and farms and woodlands and God knows what else. But I do thank him. I thank him for teaching me these things. I'm no expert, not by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not an expert. But I know a little to get by. I know a little to probably inform people. To tell somebody what that thing is, what that plant is, what that bird is. So yeah, thank you, Dad. I know I didn't appreciate it as a child. And I know I moaned and played up, but thank you, Dad. Thank you for teaching me the ways of nature. And thank you for taking me out to places I would never have even thought of going to visit. So that's a tribute to my dad, whose name is Harry. So we've come to the end of the path, which means we're going to double back now, because I'm not walking along the dual carriageway, not with Madam here. So, as the sun starts rising and warms the day, I hope you all have a very blessed and safe Wednesday. Look after yourselves. Take care of each other. And as always, sending you much love and many blessings.